Here in this land of Seattle, great-grandfather, Chief Seattle, lived in this area. And a long time ago, after the big flood, when the big flood was over, the children of our land were standing down by the river, and all they had to eat was fish all the time, because all the animals were in the mountain multiplying, and they couldn't hunt the animals yet. So the children were standing down by the river. One day they looked out on the water and they said, "Fish, fish, fish. I'm so sick and tired of fish. Yuck, if I ever see another fish. I swear I'll get sick. Oh, I don't want to eat no more fish. Fried fish, smoked fish, barbecued fish, dried fish, wind-dried. We don't want to see another fish as long as we live." And salmon woman, she was laying out there in the river, the mother to all the salmon. She got very upset. Oh, she got angry. She gathered all of her children and she went out in the deep water. And the people started starving. They had no fish. So they went up in the woods and they started eating roots. And by eating roots, they learned which ones were medicine and which one was food. And all they had to eat was roots, sprouts off from new trees and new stuff that was growing. They went to the old man of the village and they said, "Could you go out and bring Salmon Woman back?" He said, "I'm too old. I've seen over 100 winters. I can't go out on the big water, but I'll send my eldest son." So he called on his eldest son, Squata, the raven. He got in his canoe and the people put all different kind of roots in water, baskets of water in the canoe. He went out and he paddled out past the San Juan Islands. He got out on the big water. He ran out of food. He ran out of water and the fog set in and he was lost. Well, he was up out in the water and he was starving to death. He couldn't find his way home because it was too foggy. He went to the bow of his canoe and he took his drum and he cried his death song. As he's crying his song, he could hear a woman's voice in the fog hollering for help. He thought, where did she come from? How did she get here? It's foggy and I'm way out on the water. So he got down and he paddled with the last of his strength. He paddled over there. Here is this beautiful woman laying in the water, the long black hair flowing in the water. He reached down and he grabbed onto her and he pulled with everything he had and he got her aboard. She thanked him for saving her life. He said, "I'm really, truly sorry." She said, "Why would you be sorry for saving me?" He said, "All I did was save you from drowning to bring you aboard my canoe and starve to death. I have no food. I have no water. I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost. So all I did was save you from one life, one death to another." She said, "Take off your yashikwan," his hat. He took off his hat and she dipped it in the water. And her children got in her hat, in the hat, the different species of salmon. She took the seats out of the canoe and she broke them and she made a fire in the canoe. And she cooked some of her children and fed him. He got nourished and he got strong. He said, "Thank you for the food, Aichka, but I'm still lost. I don't know how to find my way back home." She said, "Take your hat and dump it back in the water. I will tell my children to jump. And when they're jumping out in the salt water, you follow them. They'll take you to the river." So she put all the children back in the water and the salmon started jumping. Salmon were jumping. They're going back past the San Juan Islands. He said, "I know where I'm at." He come around the island and here was his home. And the people were so happy to see all these salmon coming. And the kids were said, "You're not never to say that again about the salmon. You be careful how you speak about them." So Salmon Woman said, "You can have all the fish you want as long as they're going past your village. But once they go into the mountain, you leave them alone. Because they're going to go into their sleeping bed where they will spawn." So the people were content, catching a lot of salmon again. Then one day the animals multiplied. And the old man said, "You can go in the mountain and hunt." People were glad they're going to have meat for the first time in years. So Shatquan asked his brother, Squata, he said, "Would you hunt for me?" He said, "My wife is in a pregnant state of her life. She's in a magic moment, and he said, I can't hunt while she's like this. I can't fish, I can't do nothing while my wife is pregnant. He said, sure. So they went up the mountain, and they got elk and deer and bear and beaver and all kinds of stuff. They were coming back down, and they could hear people crying in the village. When they got down by the village, they couldn't figure out what was going on. Everybody was crying and crying and crying. They looked out on the river, and there was a silver blanket of salmon floating down. Somebody had gone into the sleeping place of the salmon and disturbed their spawning bed. So they got up there, and the salmon woman was really angry. She told her husband, if you don't go up there and punish whoever is responsible for this, I will take my children and never come back. So they went up in the headwaters of the river, and here was his brother, Shutquin, crawling around on all fours, and he reached over and he grabbed the king salmon. When he grabbed it and threw it up on the bank, all of its kind spawned out, rolled over, and died and drifted down. He reached over and he grabbed the dog salmon. When he grabbed it, they spawned out, and all of their kind drifted down the river dead. He reached over and he grabbed the silver, and he grabbed the humpy, and he kept on going through the species of salmon. He was just reaching for the steelhead, and his brother said, stop. Don't touch him. He said, they're easy to catch while they sleep. He said, but every time you touch them, their kind die. So he didn't grab the steelhead. That's why it can go in and out and not die when it spawns. Salmon woman said, you have to punish your brother severely. If you don't, I'm taking my kids and never coming back. So the brother took in his medicine bag, and he got the black powder. He threw it upon his brother, who was down on his hands and knees. When he threw the black powder all over his brother, hair started growing all over his body. He got claws where his hands were. He got a long nose with big teeth, like the teeth that I'm wearing, the claws that I wear. He turned into a bear. His brother said, we found you bothering the fish here in the spawning bed. From this day forward, this is the only place you can eat salmon is up here in the mountain. You're not allowed to come to the village no more. And your kind, if you come down, we'll kill you and we'll eat you. So stay away from your people. And he took his tongue so he couldn't talk to the people no more. After that, salmon woman went down to the village, and she said, from this day forward, my children will never be in the river all at the same time no more. In the springtime, the kings will come. When the kings are done, then the silvers will come. When the silvers are done, then the humpies will come. Then the sockeye. And then the steelhead will go in and out of the river. But they'll never be here because you guys can't be trusted. And if you guys disturb them anymore, I really will take them away and never come back. And when you catch the very first salmon of the year, you take him and you strip him of his flesh. And you put his carcass on a bed of ferns and cedar boughs. And you take him down to the river and you lay him in the river with his head pointed upstream so his children that come behind him will know which way to go to the spawning bed. And it's called the first salmon ceremony. So after this was done, the people were happy. And they lived happily ever after with their fish and learned a great lesson about what they could take and not take from the waters. So the legends that we hear go with the things that we're here for on Earth Day. In the salmon that are coming. The salmon are coming here to feed the people. So when they do this, it makes us all very happy. But tonight, I would like to sing a song when we were in Flagstaff, Arizona. Somebody went in and they blew up a building, federal building, in Oklahoma. And when that happened, I was watching TV and it showed that bombing going on. And I picked up my drum and I started to sing a song, praying for those people, praying for the ones who were left behind to take care of this mess that was made. And then over the years went by, Dean and Dudley, Richard, my wife and I were sitting in my living room. Oh, Dudley wasn't with us. And that song came back, that song that I call the Oklahoma song. And when we finished singing it, Richard told me, He said, over in Colorado, he said there are 25 children killed in school. And I said, strange, that song came back again. A cry song, prayers for the people. Oh. Siam and Charlotte Siam, Hajka Siam, Skeno Ait and this Kalik Siam, Etia Kaya Siam and Charlotte Siam. Oh, Hajka.